I had a dream last night. I don't know if it was a rapture dream, if it was an EMP pulse dream, but it's the first one I've ever had, and I wanted to share it. I was in a big city. I don't know if it was New York. I don't know what city it was, but I do remember the road I was on was quite a wide avenue, 3 or 4 lanes of traffic could go up and down that street, and I was looking to my left, and there were big buildings, and there were a lot of cars. And I noticed, too, that there were some cars, the kind of which I grew up with, the 70 models, a great big Oldsmobile, 88s and 98s, and, the big Buicks and everything like that. Anyway, I wanted to cross the street. And just before that, I wanted to cross the street, and there was hardly any traffic at all. And then, for some reason, I didn't do it, and I turned back around to cross the street again, and all these cars were coming. All this traffic, so I had to wait. And all of a sudden, to my left, coming was this weird-looking vehicle. It was blue. It was kind of like trying to think what color of blue. It was like a medium blue, It's like how a sky can look sometimes when it's like really, really blue? Well, it was that kind of blue in this thing. And it was coming up the sidewalk or something, and it had reoriented itself so that it could do that. It was coming very, very quickly. So I ducked in to this little alcove of a thing. Must have been something, or, these alcoves in bigger cities that you walk into a door and then you walk into a small little sort of a room, maybe for, getting your mail or whatever it is, and then go in through another door. Well, anyway, I was in there, and I decided to hug up against the inside of the outside wall so that whatever was coming by, whatever flew into the room, because the door opened a certain way, wouldn't get to me. And this thing flew by. And the building shook. I mean, I was standing there and my dreams just shaking, right? So after it passed, I looked outside and all the traffic was gone. All the traffic that I had seen was completely gone except for 2 vehicles. One was an older type car like I was talking about, but it was coasting. It wasn't driving up the street, it was just coasting. And on the other side of the street, another it was like a truck, weird looking truck, something European. I'm not saying that it's weird, I'm just saying that they're built differently than they are here in the United States. Anyway, maybe it was blue because of the UN blue. That's the color of blue it was. It was UN blue. And it's coasting across the street right in front of where I wanted to go. So it just coasts, and I don't pay any more attention to it, and I go across the street into this building, and it was dark inside there. I wondered why it was dark. It was a pretty good sized room, no appreciable office before I had to get into this room that I could see. I just walked right into it, and to my left were all these black chairs like they have at the airport, those Eames chairs designed by Eames or something that looked like that. Black chairs, and whether they were leather or whatever. And there were just a couple, 2 people sitting there. And the whole room was dark. And on to my right, I saw these television monitors. Just regular television monitors. They weren't very big. And I'm like, what's up with this? And it looked like it was some sort of a funeral arrangement. It's kind of like these people could come and see what kind of funeral arrangement they were going to have for their loved ones or something. So I go to the left and sit behind them. And on this desk or something were these papers I saw where millions had canceled or no longer wanted to be a part of this funeral place. It must have been a national chain of some kind, which I've never heard of, a national chain of funeral homes or whatever. But it said millions have canceled. Millions have requested that you no longer contact them. And it wasn't in anything like a newspaper print or anything. It was like it was written. It was in handwriting. And I thought, what is this all about? And that was the end. Just now thinking, that when I was going across the street the first time, it was daylight. It wasn't like it was bright, sunny, or anything like that. I just noticed the traffic and the buildings and everything. But the skies were blue. And when I came back out, the skies were kind of gray. It was still light enough to see. It wasn't like it was so dark overcast that you couldn't see anything. But it was kind of like just this gray nothing. The buildings were still there. And I didn't notice any people other than those that were inside across the street. I just walked right across the street without running into anybody or whatever. So that's the first dream I've ever had that reminded me a lot of what I've been hearing others dreams. They're like EMP pulses, rapture dreams. Anyway, that's the first one I've had. I appreciate your comments. If you have anything on that, I'd like to know. Thanks.